we're not going to be all romantic, and I'm not going to like go all into your history and try and figure out why you have a broken relationship with your father. We're not going to do that.
No Oprah
you can do that. No, you can do that with your therapist, and that's fine. I do that. I did that a little bit on A Question of Love, but it's only when needed as a tool to move you out of the state that you're in. But you have to come to me ready, having done your homework, having done your self-work. You come to me for a plan and to find your man and a strategy. And I'll put the strategy on it. And if you're ready, like I was telling you, that first client, when you're ready, things are going to happen for you really fast.
Okay. Nice.
Oh, girl. Okay. I'm like, that's good to know. And I think it's important for people to know, too, that I think sometimes if you want to date, you want to be there's so much hand holding, like, this, that. It's like, no, you have to be prepared. You have to be ready. Main thing is you got to be ready and know where your faults are and what it is and what you're really looking for. Because I think it's so up in the air. I think there's a lot of like is what we call pie in the sky. There's so many different things. I'm not really sure. It's like that person, like you ask him, what do you do for a living? Well, I do no, focus. Don't you have just one thing you really, you could have different things that you admire in things and you might want to dabble in and play with, but what's your focus? Like you're trying to be a jack of all trades, but a master of nothing. So I think even with dating, it's kind of like that thing. Well, I want this, but I want that, but I really don't know, and I'm not sure. It's like, what really do you want? What is it that's going to, fulfill you in that sense? And when it comes to relationships, so it's a good style to have. It's kind of like that teacher that's like, look. What do you want? What do you want? It's like, I can't give you that answer. You have to figure out that answer for yourself. Now, I can help you get to that answer, but I'm not going to give you the answer because I can't figure out the answer for you. You have to, and I can lead you in that direction.
But I'll remind people, because we spent a lot of time visioning at the beginning, getting clear on who that person is, because that's going to drive all of your action. Once you have that picture on your vision board of who Mr. Right is, then then I can devise a strategy to put you into his space. But if you get the butterflies and you get the excuses and all the things that conspire against you to find that person, if you don't have an advocate like me that's going, well, you remember, when we were talking with Tiffany in the previous show, if you say you want someone of the same religious background, and that's one of we drill down to 3 must-haves.
Just go into that.
If that's your must-have,
women put out there, is it money the first thing that they're, you have to deal with, get them out of that mindset of money, or is it looks? What do you break down to them? You can't aspire to be looking for somebody for that, or or religion. Like, what do you tell them?
So the other thing is, I can't judge. Like, I can't do it for you, like you just said, Inez. I can't judge what your must-haves are, but I will make sure that those are your real must-haves. And what I try to guide people to do is make decisions based on common values and shared goals for the future. Those are the 2 most important qualities. And then in long-term compatibility, and then we look at communication and respect and all of those other things. But the values and the goals are really important. So what I will say now, what most women come to me saying is that the guy does not necessarily have to make a lot of money, but he has to have a goal for the future. He has to be working towards something and have a passion. And I work with a lot of the women that I work with are very type A, high-powered. So that is important to them, but they realize that they might not meet a guy that's at the same financial level. And, I have worked with a woman that came from a very wealthy family, and she still had this idea. She had to meet a wealthy guy. And I was like, okay, first of all, you went to an Ivy League school. Your parents have loads of money. You own a business. Like, to meet someone that is above your level, your dating pool is about 5 guys.
Right.
And I don't know where they are.
Right. No, that's so true.
That's so true.
Like, that's what I was saying. Being realistic. Yes. Not even realistic, but just being more open to the possibilities. Because if you're so, closed-minded, you're like, they have to have these certain things, you may never get to meet somebody who potentially not even potentially. Here's another thing I'm into, with that. What about women who fall in love or think they're in love with the potential of a guy, or see he has such potential but isn't really moving towards that that notion. Is potential a good thing to be looking for when you're like kind of dating? I mean,
I think potential can be a good thing. I mean, when I met my husband, he was pretty much broke. Like, he had a job, but he was an aspiring writer. He was working as an assistant. He was miserable in his job. I made twice as much money as he did. And I saw potential in him. But more importantly, I always had the vision of myself being the primary breadwinner of the family. And so I was not looking for another baller. I was looking for somebody that would be willing to stay home and take care of our children, because I wanted to have children. But I was like, that's not really my style. So I projected into the future, and I was like, my goal is to find someone that can be a real partner in raising a family. And that was totally my husband's thinking. He's like, well, I could be a writer and I can write from home and take care of the kids. And now he does. I mean, it turned out he became very successful. And now I'm not the primary breadwinner of our family, which is fine too. Yeah, right. But I still, and he still has the mindset of being a equal partner in child rearing. So, that's when I keep going back to, well, what are your goals for the future then? Because if your goal is to have a family and also run a company, is the nanny taking care of your kid? And if so, like, maybe that's fine. But if not, then maybe you need to rethink what the important qualities in a partner are for you.
That's so true. True. It's crazy.
I always have something to say, and I got shit to say.
Well,
okay, because I always have something to say, rebuttal, and I'm like, shit. Yeah, what can I say? I ain't got shit to say.
No, that's good to end it off like that. But we want to let everybody know, Damona, where can they find you at?
Well, I also have a podcast that's on iTunes and iHeart and all the Stitcher, all the great places that you are. It's called Dates and Mates. And the tagline is Modern Love Made Simple. So we have conversations like this. I talk about headlines in dating and relationships, what's happening in the world of love, celebrity relationships, new studies that are out, new techniques for online dating, that kind of thing. And then we take questions from listeners and really dissect them down to the point where, it's useful information for anyone in dating and relationships. Everybody can relate to the questions that we have. I have guests that are from authors to actors to celebrities. It's a fun show. It's cheeky but informative.
I've heard.
Yes,
cheeky but informative. So
very
that's
good. So
Dates
highly
and
recommend.
Yes.
I started listening as well, and it's really really good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good.
And we'll post about it on our show, on our website.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And I also have a free gift for all your listeners at DamonaHoffman.com. If you're in a relationship, I have the 7-day relationship boot camp online course that you can take for free. And if you're single, I have the texting 10 commandments, because I find that texting is really, it's a step in the dating process that people haven't really learned to do. And I used to just ignore texting, but I got to the point where I had to teach people the skill, because it's part of flirting now. It's part of getting to the date and getting the second date and all of that. So now I have a workbook and a course online for free at DamonaHoffman.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Damona. That was so informative. You guys highly recommend listening to her podcast. Follow her on Instagram. Definitely
check her out on iTunes.
Yes, and definitely keep an eye out on her. You want to give us any sneak? Are you coming out with anything soon, TV wise? Any just kind of like say yes.
Spoiler alert.
I know. Maybe not. So we can definitely keep an eye out for you.
Not TV wise, but I just was made the love expert for BET.com. So
awesome. Congratulations.
You heard it here first.
So you can check out the style section there, and I have different articles on love and romance there. And I have can I say? Yeah, I think I can say. I have a new partner for Dates and Mates. BlackPeopleMeet.com is going to be working with me on the show.
Congratulations.
So they're working with me on our Technically Dating segment. I can't believe I just announced it. Oh my God.
I love it.
You heard it here first.
Yes.
Moscato and Tea.
We're giving you the tea.
The scoop. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Damona. We're going to continue this conversation, and we want to thank you guys for listening. Check us out on iTunes, SoundCloud, and our website, moscatoandtea.com.
Yes.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Check us out on moscatoandtea.com. Subscribe on iTunes. Follow us on social media. See you next time.